The greatest threat to the integrity of the legal system is a broke attorney. Those words were said by Mark Chinn, a great attorney in Jackson, Mississippi, and I absolutely agree. Hi, my name is Bree DeLong. I'm the author and creator of The Happier Attorney, and this channel this is only for attorneys. We talk about flat fees and mindset and all of the things that you can do as an attorney so that you can be happier and provide better service to your clients. So, people assume, as you well know, if you are an attorney, that attorneys make a lot of money. And while that can certainly be true, attorneys know that most of the time that's just not the case. We don't make what people think we make. Even if it looks like we charge a lot of money, if we're not using flat fees properly, we're not collecting that money. And it takes a lot of money to run a law practice. And that's before the debt crisis was crippling for people. When you are graduating with $200,000, $300,000 in student loans, you need to be making some good money. And nothing good comes from attorneys who are struggling financially. I talk to so many attorneys every week, and let me tell you, there are attorneys who are really struggling financially. There are attorneys who literally could probably qualify for public assistance. They're really struggling. And what happens when you have financial stress is that you have increased stress. You're unable to focus. I once heard that money was kind of like water. And if you had enough, you didn't think about it. When you don't have enough, it's all you think about. And I think that's true. I mean, I've had financial stress, and let me tell you, when things are going well, you don't really think about it. The bills are paid, the money's coming in, life is good. When you don't have enough of it coming in, it is all you think about. It is all consuming, and it affects your behavior. And what happens when you don't have sufficient cash flow in your law practice? That means you have to take on more clients. You have to do more marketing. You have to well, you don't have to. We all know the attorneys who do things that maybe they shouldn't, whether that be practicing in areas where they're not really proficient, whether that's being tempted to create work that may not be necessary, or downright padding their bills, or heaven forbid, borrowing from their trust account. That financial stress gets involved, and people do things they probably normally wouldn't do. And then it's just a downward spiral down the drain. And at some point, it is all going to come crashing down. There's nothing good at the end of that road. There is example after example of this, and I'm sure you can think of your own examples, but all we have to do is look at the back of any state's bar news. I truly don't believe that any attorney wakes up and thinks, oh, I'm just going to not refund money to a client that I should refund money to. Or I'm going to steal from my trust account today. That's not what happens. What happens is that they get in a desperate situation. Yes, their own creation, but one nonetheless. And so they do things that they normally wouldn't do. And a tragic example of this is I have a dear friend whose husband was a family law attorney in Washington State. He did a good job. He wanted to keep his prices low. He wanted to help more people than he was able to help. And so he took on more clients and more clients and more clients. And he had a caseload that he couldn't adequately manage. And so you can see what was going to happen. He started getting the complaints. Oh, you said this was going to be filed. Oh, you haven't returned my phone call. What's going on in my case? On and on and on. Well, and there was huge financial stress. So he had to take on more clients and more clients. And then people wanted, we've all seen it. Well, then the bar complaints started. And he refused to look at his pricing structure because, again, he wanted to be reasonable. He wanted to help people. Well, he had a bar hearing on a Tuesday. The Friday before, he shot himself in his office and killed himself. Now, That is another video as to why we as attorneys think it would literally be better to kill ourselves than face the bar. But the point remains. This is a downward spiral, and not all of it is going to be, the bottom of that is not always going to be that dramatic, but it is going to not be good. It's going to be taking drugs, drinking too much, over shopping, having affairs, other destructive behavior when you get in that desperate spot. So sometimes it's not a lack of income, but it's overspending. And yes, maybe you created it, but you still have to deal with it. Regardless of the cause of the financial stress, when you have it, you're not going to be making good decisions. And again, how is that going to end up? It's not going to be good. So while flat fees will not solve all of the ills in the attorney world, it absolutely is a fundamental and important ingredient in a solid foundation if done properly. So, how do you start with flat fees, and why is it so important for your financial health? A healthy fee, you're getting paid for your value, not just your time, not just your minutes. You are making more money and working less generally. Again, if you're doing it properly, that translates into more money and more financial bandwidth that you can spend on quality staff, on training, and all of the other things that make your practice work better and become more financially healthy, so that there aren't balls being dropped, there aren't unhappy clients, there aren't people asking for refunds. There's never a time when you are tempted to do something you shouldn't be doing, okay? You can budget when you're using flat fees properly. You know how much money you will have in the future, not in theory, but in a bank account. And you're actually getting paid 100% of the work that you're doing. You're not forgetting to track your time. You're not forgetting to send out bills. I talk to attorneys every week, and they are still working 9 to 10 hours a day, and they're still only billing 2 to 3 hours, and they're not even collecting on that. That's no way to run a business, including a law practice. And I remember those days when I was using hourly fees, and I would send out my statements on the 25th of every month, and I would sit there and try and figure out who was going to pay what, to figure out what bills I could pay on the first. That's crazy. That is no way to run a business, which this is. Your law practice is a business. Yes, this is a profession, and it is still a business. You still have to make money. You still have to have a roof over your head and food on the table, okay? And so when you start thinking in terms of how being financially solvent and financially healthy is going to help you, it also helps your clients, because you're more relaxed, you're doing a better job, you are more focused, and you're not ever moving into temptation of cutting corners, of doing extra work, of borrowing from trust accounts or anything like that, okay? And when you're using flat fees properly, it's far easier to save money and to have cushion and bandwidth. And if you're using the profit first model, which I absolutely subscribe to, you're not overspending on overhead, okay? You're getting fewer clients, you're having less stress, and the quality of your work is far better. You're on the treadmill at the right speed. And it's a horrible feeling when you're on the treadmill and it's going too fast. When you know things are like, oh, this isn't good, and you're just trying to keep it together at all times. I know, I've been there. And also, when you're using flat fees properly, you have more time to focus on what is truly important. That gives your brain some bandwidth and some downtime so that you can deal with any emergencies that happen in a far healthier manner. And so again, while flat fees are not the cure-all for all attorney issues, they absolutely are a good start and a large part of a very solid, healthy foundation that translates into a better practice and a better life, and allows you to do all of the other things in your practice that you want to do, so that you are never broke again, that you never have a cash crunch again. So if you have liked this or found this video helpful in any way, I would ask that you like, subscribe, comment, let me know what your experience has been. That way other attorneys can also see this channel and help our entire profession. If you want to know more about me, about working with me, just click on the link below and go to breedalong.com. Take care.